He was a searcher, really. He was looking for something he didn't have.
I don't think he knew how valuable he was to other people, how much what he did for them mattered.
He was a good man. He just happened to be a brilliant, brilliant actor.
He just made you feel like things were going to be okay. If he was around, he just did.
Jimmy had that combination of being very down to earth and also larger than life.
You did a scene with Jimmy Gandolfini and you walked away a better actor.
He was a reluctant star.
He was so grateful for his good luck, for his chance to do something for people.
You can't go out and say, we lost Tony Soprano. We didn't lose Tony Soprano. We lost James Gandolfini.
Whatever the opposite of bullshit is, that's what I think Jim Gandolfini was searching for.
Well, we have our breaking news now. If we can confirm the death of James Gandolfini, the actor best known, of course, for his role in The Sopranos as Tony Soprano. HBO is confirming that he died while on vacation in Rome.
I was taking a nap, and a friend came up to my room and said, gotta wake up. Jim Gandolfini died. And I wasn't entirely sure I was awake. I didn't know what had happened. Couldn't make sense of it.
I couldn't believe it. I refused to believe it. Yeah, who told you this?
It didn't make sense to me. I somehow was under the mistaken impression that this guy was indestructible.
You know, then I just sat on that chair for days, you know. Yeah, that was bad.
A lot of phone calls trying to hopefully find out it was a rumor. But it wasn't.
Well, you know your time has come, and you're sorry for what you've done. You should have never been playing with a gun in those complicated shadows.
The first time I actually met him, you know, he came in to read as one of the actors who came in to read, and you know, we basically just shook hands, and he sat down and he read, and then he bolted in the middle of it. He left. He said, I'm not doing this right. This is not good. After he finally read the whole thing all the way through, it was pretty clear that he was the guy.
Mr. Soprano?
Yeah.
It had been cast already, and they said it was this guy, Jim Gandolfini.
You get that?
I'm gonna get a thought.
I guess I first met him at the first read-through.
We became a family from that day, from the first read-through, and then we went from there.
We shot the pilot in August of 1997. It was great, and everybody had a nice time and felt that they were working on something really good. But in this business, a lot of times when you feel like you're working on something really good, that's usually what means that, like, nobody's ever going to see it.
I did not think it would be a big thing, not in the least.
Oddly, I had much more confidence than David or anybody else did, including Jim. I think they were fairly pessimistic about the show.
I did this screening, and my friends came, and you know, I've done this before with people, and I could see that people really were responding to it. They were laughing a lot more than I thought they would, and I began to think then we had something, but I never thought it would succeed with, you know, in the way that it did. I never had that dream, that notion, that inkling, anything.
You gave a fucking cousin Cartier dinner rings, and you give me a vibrating chair?
He was exciting to work with. He had a great effect. There was an energy or something that came from him.
Oh, Ma, you gotta stop. You gotta stop with this black poison cloud all the time, because I can't take it anymore.
Oh, poor you. We really laughed our fool heads off on that set. He and Nancy Marchand, this is going back to the beginning, would make each other laugh. I mean, she was a ferociously funny woman.
I'm even gonna Gonna what? What the fuck are you doing? Not even gonna kiss me. Hit me. No, kiss me. Kiss me.
All my greatest memories involve all of us being out of control laughing. And Jim was always at the heart of it.
Want to say something?
What?
It's a tough one.
Working on that show was like walking down the street and hanging out on the corner with your friends. It was like that every day.
There was a scene that was in the 3rd season when he calls me to go and help him, and I come in with a hunting outfit, the Pine Barrens episode.
Did you call Bobby?
He's on his way.
And he said, you know, you better know how to make me laugh tomorrow morning, because, you know, I had to walk in with his hunting outfit, which he had already seen, and I had to be funny. So I told the prop guy, I said, listen, do you have any dildos, you know? And he found me the biggest dildo. It looked like an Italian bread. And when I come into that room, which is the scene you see, I'm off camera, and you see Jim basically fall over laughing on the counter. And you could almost catch Dominic Pianese crack a smile. That was a funny scene. We had a lot of laughs that day.
Bust my balls. They bust my balls. I remember telling a bunch of reporters one time, this guy holds up the show. If the show is great, it's because of James Gandolfini, and everybody in the cast understood what I meant.
Doing a show like that, do you know how much work it is for him, for a lead on any of these shows? These people work, they're in it all the time. And I never saw anyone work so hard at each scene, analyzing it, working on it.
The trouble is kind of something that's trying to be difficult.
Out of the hard work came something transcendent. Doesn't look like hard work. It looks like magic.
Where is she? Where the fuck is she? Where is she?
In those moments when you're going all the way. Going all the way. I'm gonna empty ourselves.
No, please don't make me do it. I can't do it. I can't do it.
I can't.
I can't do it.
I'm gonna take care of it.
He did that all the time. I mean, he made you do it.
All right.
Made you want to do it.
Like a sculptor works in marble, his raw material was emotion. And he was just really good with working with it.
He did things with a blink. He could play a scene with his eyes. And you knew exactly what the hell his character was going through.
You got eyes like that. You know, there's something special burning inside.
The defining emotion, I guess, about him, or about his eyes, was kind of sadness. And that's why when he laughed or smiled, it was so powerful.
I don't think anybody else could have played Tony Soprano and made him that character. I mean, it's so much of who Jim was Tony.
Tony Soprano had all the best qualities of Jimmy, and it's why we loved him so much.
By the time I was there, I think there was a frustration about what kind of person Jim was and what kind of person Tony was. That's a lot of pressure. Everything you do on screen sticks to you, and even though he was beloved, he was cruel and brutal, and, you know, I'm talking about Tony, and Jim was not like that.
I think it was hard for Jim sometimes to go to dark places.
I loved you. What happens, I decide, not you. No. Fuck! This fucking turning thing doesn't work.
It's okay. It's okay. Cut it.
And this was really, really deeply emotional and sometimes deeply disturbing, and you really had to get in touch with a part of yourself that, you know, if you did not feel the words you were saying, it just wasn't going to work.
What happens, I decide, not you. Now, you don't love me anymore, well, that breaks my heart, but it's still fucking bad, because you don't gotta love me. But you will respect me.
Tony Soprano had a very, very, very dark side. And somehow or other, good boy Jimmy Gandolfini was able to fill those shoes.
I had so much respect for the way he worked.
Are you sure my hand was down here? Was it up here?
The freedom that he had as an actor was a constant source of inspiration for me, and something I still aim for.
Here. Okay, sorry. Let's do it one more time. And wherever my hand falls, that's life.
Jimmy and Edie made everybody better. Both of them were extraordinary. And totally two different styles of working. Jimmy would argue about everything, and I don't know, this doesn't work, and why is he saying that? I don't want to. Edie came in, had it all memorized. Never any discussion, just did it. And yet look at how well matched they seem.
Sometimes you get to work 2 hours earlier, you know, you have to sit around for 2 hours, and I'm not going to sit in my camper by myself. I'm going to go watch Jim and Edie film a scene, and I felt like I was in the greatest acting class of all time.
They came to work and they did their job, and they had this thing called chemistry.
The last year, I have been dreaming and fantasizing and in love with Furio. Every morning when he'd come to pick you up, I would look forward to it all night long in bed next to you. It's a very strange alchemy that goes on when you work with somebody that closely for that long. There was one scene that took place on chairs by a pool, I guess in our backyard. And it wasn't about anything. The scene, it was a nothing scene. And David didn't want us to look at each other. So we were just looking straight ahead and talking about nothing. I remember ending that day of shooting and thinking, it will never be this good again. You know, with an actor, with this writing, with a storyline, with a marriage, you know, with a relationship. It's funny, I hadn't thought about it till this second.
Papi, oh, Papi.
He wanted to make sure that the love got spread around. I guess that's what I would say.
Thank you.
Jimmy was kind of a leader, in a way. I think we all took our cues from him.
This is a family. This is a team. This is not about who's a star and whatever. There was no egos going around. We were so lucky to go to work, and he made it feel that way from the top.
Jim set the tone for the entire spirit of the cast and crew.
From the first moment, gave me the utmost respect. Not being an actor at the time, you know. I'm concerned, what are these actors going to think of me at all coming onto the show? I'm a fucking rock and roll guitar player, you know what I mean? Well, you know, what am I doing here in the first place, right? So when Jimmy gave me that complete respect, though everybody on the set did.
Your fucking wig is huge today. Fucking thing.
Mr. Gandolfini had a very warped sense of humor. One day I came to the set to come to work, and I was passing his trailer, and he's always called me Brocco. Hey, Brocco, I left your present in your trailer. And I was like, oh, thank you. How nice. How lovely of you. Wow. Thanks, Jimmy. And I got to my trailer, and there was this big box. And I said, well, it's not jewelry, and it's not flowers. What the hell could it be? Excuse me a second. He gave me this lovely cock. I have had the pleasure of Mr. Cock-a-doodle-doo for many, many years, and it is probably the most horrible, ugliest thing I've ever received in my whole life.
And the Emmy goes to James Gandolfini from The Sopranos.
To the crew of The Sopranos and the cast and the writers, but the crew who worked so hard and put up with so much. To my son, Michael, I promised I would do this.
We were always laughing. We took a trip to San Francisco. We stopped at a red light, and this is so my dad. he gets out of the car and starts dancing right on the street. I was laughing so hard, and he ran back in the car, and we went during the green light.
James, can I get a shot, please?
No. Jim was really great at laughing at the absurdity of life, especially when the show really became so popular, and he became so popular. And he had a way of just kind of diffusing the importance of that, and just looking at the absurdity of it.
Hey, do a short interview with you with Cynthia for HBO?
I know. You know what? I feel like Jesus just sat down on the mountain with me. Thank you.
Oh, really?
Because I know.
Well, I'll disappoint you quickly, don't worry.
There was something about Jimmy that was extremely humble. I think the fame and the publicity was not that important.
We'd be in the bathroom, and he'd be like at the urinal, and people were coming up to him at the urinal, wanting to shake his hand. Honestly.
One time, Jim was really freaked out. We were in West Virginia, and some guy took off his shirt, and he had a tattoo of Jim's face on his back. He had a tattoo of Jim and a tattoo of Scarface, Al Pacino. And that really, that really freaks me out, man. The guy's got my face on his back.
I think he may have secretly enjoyed getting good reservations at restaurants or something, and being able to help people. Because I know he did that a lot. You know, if somebody was sick, he was able to get them the best doctors.
He'd just do things, and that's the way he was. If he thought that he could be helpful, then he just did it.
That meant he was accepting his success, you know? And that's really the best part of accepting one's success, because now you get a chance to use it. And it does have its uses.
Welcome to Afghanistan. Beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry to have much time there. Welcome aboard.
Thank you, sir.
Been a little busy getting to this point of the day, but it should be all gravy from here.
Thank you.
We both came from the same generation in which the men in our families fought in World War II, and we were always very proud of that service. And Jim wanted to do whatever he could.
What happened?
The cable machine, I was doing like crunches with the weight, and it broke.
In the gym, you got injured.
Sorry, I smacked in the back of
I
the head.
figured. You look kind of silly, you know that?
Yeah, I know, sir. Sopranos are awesome.
Thank you. How you doing, man? How are you?
He could go over there and just talk to the soldiers, and in talking to them and talking to them like a friend, they felt important. They felt wanted. They felt respected.
Can't get a raise from paparazzi anywhere, can you?
Your paparazzi kind of like.
One day I get a call. He says, what do you think about Iraq? 3 weeks later, we were saying hello to the troops.
Tony Sirico and what's your name?
Jim Gandolfini.
Jim Gandolfini. We came all the way here to tell you that we love you.
We were the type of guys that wanted to go up front and see what the guys were doing. We went up to Mosul and we seen it all. This is a scene that we were on top of a police department roof that had just been taken over by our guys, and the mortars started to hit down the block. Boom, boom. And I looked at Jimmy, he looked at me, and we looked at these young kids. These were young soldiers on the roof. And all they did was look over the roof. And you knew right away, they'd been shot at before. They were real deal guys. I was very proud of these guys.
You got hit?
No, not sure what happened yet. Just got into the dust and ended up on the side.
Well, you got everybody out. First pilot, it could have been much worse, right?
Yeah, that's all that matters. They all walked away from it, so that's all that matters to me. Yeah. You guys coming around just visiting the troops?
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. It means a lot to me.
Thank you.
Many people think of Jim only as a film actor, but Jim has an extraordinary career making documentaries, and that's how I met Jim.
That was good. Well, you did step in, my friend.
Jim wanted to do something to help the country understand the sacrifices of the soldiers and to honor them.
Laces.
Jim, this is Jane.
Hey, good to meet you.
Is this what the Army calls combat stress? I mean,
PTSD is what they call it. In the world I come from, in the Army and the infantry land, you know, they don't believe in PTSD. They believe that they're just weak-minded people. He really made me feel special, and the fact that he gave me the opportunity, you know, to share my story.
When he sat down with the soldiers, they felt that they knew Jim. They had watched him on TV. He had been in their house. And they told him things from deep down in their souls that they wouldn't have told anybody else on earth.
You know, do I wonder if my kid, if I ever have a kid, do I wonder if they'll love me, like, for who I am? I hope so.
What were you just thinking about?
The reality of, you know, will I be able to raise a kid? I won't be able to pick up my son or daughter with 2 arms. I won't. He's an intense listener, and so it was very easy for me to feel comfortable and to open up. It wasn't about him. It was about telling our stories, and it was about the American public, you know, getting to know us as people and seeing our challenges.
I'm shredded, I'm torn up. I'll be single the rest of my life. Who the hell could love me like this? I mean, who could love me like this? He actually stopped the interview a couple times because he started crying. You know, I was like, is this genuine? I mean, is he for real? Because it's, at the end of the day, it's James Gandolfini. I mean, the dude could act. You know, little did I know it was all pure. And just love.
Oh, man, I gotta get a hug? Thank you.
No problem. Thank you very much.
You did a great job.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome. Oh, God bless you for what you're doing, Jim.
When we got done with it all, he asked, is there anything I can do for you right now? Right this second. If you could say hi to my fiance if I call her real quick.
Absolutely.
He took the phone and he was smiling. You know, that frickin' Gandolfini smile, man. First thing Jimmy said to her, hey, I gotta ask you a favor. Be patient with him. And that to me was big. Because he knew, you know, I mean, he knew that this was gonna be a long fight. I still had a lot of fighting to do. And just for him to, I mean, the dude had just met me. I mean, but I could tell it was already really genuine.
We all take something away from our time with Jim. You don't say that about everybody you meet. One of the things that Jim did was he signed everybody's poster. And I remember when he was signing mine, he said, I'm gonna write something on here and you read it when you need it. And they boxed the posters up, they shipped them to all of us. And I haven't taken mine out of the box yet. And I'm waiting because I know one day I'll need it and Jim will still be there for me.
Tonight we're presenting a new award from the Wounded Warrior Project, the James Gandolfini Award. By the way, Michael Gandolfini, I should say, this is also tonight's winner of the Jim Gandolfini Lookalike Contest. Congratulations on that, but keep the head. Keep the head. The James Gandolfini Award honors an individual who exemplifies the values of the Wounded Warrior Project, as Jimmy did. Please welcome Tony Sirico.
We play tough guys in the movies, but these are the real tough guys. These are the guys that keep us safe.
Pat Loud, the Pat Loud. I'm Craig Gilbert from New York. I'm a big fan.
He was a masterful actor who had a tremendous amount of vulnerability available at any moment. The only thing that surprised me was his sex appeal. In person, yeah, you know.
You meet a lot of people that have pretenses and aspirations to be something they're not, and Jim always was who he was and always was genuine in his own skin. Jim felt like a real breath of fresh air, of someone that really understood what the process was.
He took so much time studying Craig Gilbert's diction and how he would deliver a sentence.
This is what we've been waiting for. The best stuff is happening right now.
He was so committed to representing this guy.
We did not know anything about him except that he was still alive. And Jim said to me, I got some friends that are going to help me find him.
He knocked on his door. Can you imagine? I'm sorry, but can you imagine having Jim Gandolfini knock on your door and go, hey, I'm playing you in a movie. Can we spend some time together? I mean, that would be very surreal.
There's real suffering happening here, Craig. You should have seen my kids last night.
You're right. I should have seen your kids. And the whole world should have seen your kids. And frankly, without that and without this, I don't even know if this thing is worth putting on the air.
Well, he's one of the most memorable people I've met and worked with. His real gift, to me, selfishly, was his heart in terms of how much it felt and how sensitive he really was.
Nice, thank you.
Do you like fake boobs?
No. No, I like real boobs.
Yeah, I got real boobs.
That's working out for us then.
What I loved about working with him on those scenes was that he was very dedicated to the authenticity of it. It's like tuning an instrument. And that's how I think we both approached these scenes together. If it sounded just right, if he wanted to try something different, it was these slight adjustments that really were profound. I can give you a massage sometime if you want.
I think I might like that. But I would definitely hit on you.
Well, that might be okay. We had a shared understanding of what these moments were, these sort of little real moments. And it was a delightful experience. We worked really hard on the last scene in the film. When we got it, we both knew we got it. And we walked off of the set, and we both fell into each other's arms and hugged, and we both were weepy. And in fact, it's that very take. People like James Gandolfini don't come along frequently in life, and the fact that our lives intersected in this project, which is very, you know, it was a real labor of love, the project, and to have done that with him was just a complete gift, and I'm really happy about it.
All fathers and sons should have this conversation.
You're almost 21.
A haircut is too much to ask, I'm sure, but you show up at that restaurant without a tie and a jacket, you and me gonna tangle, my friend.
Working with him on Not Fade Away was great. A lot of the stuff that had washed up on the beach of The Sopranos, all that fame and all that attention, that was all gone. And it was just like we were starting over again, as two guys starting another project. What I really liked about it is that between takes, he and I were talking. He and I were friends between takes. That's what really made it so special.
What he did for actors like me, he blew open the door for smart writing. This whole likability factor and where's the speech where I redeem myself? Throw that out the window. He and David Chase did that. They made it okay to do that because people watched and people couldn't get enough of it. So I think he'll be remembered as a pioneer who was better than he thought he was.
I'm just in total denial about it. And probably always will be. You know, I'm just like, our schedules are just not connecting. You know, and that would happen. We go months, many months, sometimes just missing each other, you know? That's how I'm treating it in my mind, you know? We're just missing each other, you know? And eventually we'll catch up.
I was proud to be his friend. I'm proud to be his friend. And I'm going to carry him with me throughout my career, throughout my life.
He taught me everything I need to know to be a great man. Just want to make sure I make him proud.
Whenever I went to an HBO event or even anywhere, you know, there's always that 1% chance his giant hand would come and, like, mush my face and, you know, grab me and kiss me and hug me. For me, the thing that sticks out the most is that that's never going to happen again.
Even in his death, he brought us all together. He made us want to be there and hug each other and give love to each other and give affection to one another and care. That's pretty remarkable, too.
I don't know what else to tell you. He was a good boy.
That was probably one of the most surreal days of my entire life because most of the people I hadn't seen since the show had wrapped. Our whole crew, our whole cast. It was like a scene we shot. We had done this so many times before.
That was like a funeral for like a king. You know you did something good in life when people send you off like that. And that's not just like a famous person's service. That's like, you did a lot of good, and this is how we want to remember it. You know, this is how we want to say goodbye to you.
And they were putting the coffin into the hearse, and all the cars were lined up outside the church, and they were going to go to the cemetery and bury him. I hear shh, shh, and I look up, and this giant eagle comes swooping down over the hearse and sits up on top of the church and looks down on everybody. And it was Jim. And it stayed there and looked at everybody for about a minute, and as the cars drove away, flapped away and went up to the sky.
You can travel down the road, check on every vine. You can travel down the road, you can travel down the line. But there are few like Jimmy. He was homemade wine. Honest, good, pure, nothing added. Wants you to have a good time. Sharing with friends like family. He was homemade wine. You need $1, you got Jim. Loyalty and truthfulness. That was him. Believing in something good out there. Never got in the way. He was always fair. A good brother, a good son, good father. He always tried his best. And all the rest. He was homemade wine.